Good to have you with us, Page.
Thank you.
Just explain for us, what is a grand jury and what can it achieve that the current investigations can't?
Well, a grand jury is basically a group of about 20 citizens. They're summoned to come into the courthouse and listen to evidence that the prosecutor presents. At the end of the investigation, the grand jury votes whether there's probable cause that a crime has been committed. If they find that there was probable cause, then they issue arrest warrants and they formally charge someone with a crime. During the time the grand jury is sitting, the prosecutor can ask them to sign off on subpoenas, and subpoenas for documents, subpoenas for witness testimony to actually bring people into the grand jury room and ask them questions under oath. So it's an investigative tool that the prosecution can use.
So do you think it suggests that there is enough evidence that it could lead to charges? Is that why they're going this route?
You cannot charge someone in federal court without a grand jury indictment. So it's an absolute necessity, if the case is going to end up in criminal charges, that you use a grand jury to get there. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be criminal charges. I've represented people in countless grand jury investigations where the prosecutors looked at the evidence, they gathered a lot of documents through subpoenas, and ultimately decided that there was not enough evidence to show probable cause. So just because there's a grand jury does not necessarily mean there will be criminal charges.
This crosses what President Trump calls his red line, because sources tell us it's going to go after his finances and any possible ties in Russia. Could they subpoena his tax returns?
Yes, and it's common in grand jury investigations where there's any suggestion of financial crimes or improprieties that a prosecutor is going to want to look at the tax returns. Where did the money go? What did he do with the money? Did he declare the money? And what happens in these investigations routinely is you may start out investigating one crime, but you may find another crime, and they're not going to ignore that. So say he did not fairly disclose all of his income on his tax returns. That's a separate federal crime. It's not why this investigation started, but if they find evidence of that, I expect they will pursue it.
And this is not just necessarily going to look at current relationships in Russia. This could actually look historically at any ties he had.
Right. The special counsel here has a specific direction. You're entitled to look at Russia's interference with the U.S. election and anything that directly relates to that. That's where the question comes in. You know, how far can he go? What other things can the special counsel look at without getting into trouble? And we've already heard from the White House they want to keep him pretty well confined to the Russia investigation, but it looks like this is going further.
Yeah, certainly the next step. It's fascinating. Page Pate, good to have your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.